I have owed this video to you guys for a minute now, and I apologize for the delay. Unbelievable though it may be, I really have never heard this album before. Maybe through osmosis, I have heard a couple of the songs, but I genuinely don't remember what any of them sound like off the top of my head, except for Thinking About You. Because that one was just a major radio hit and you really couldn't escape it, right? The potato flying around the room vine, things like that. So I do remember what that one sounds like, but none of the other tracks. In a very similar fashion to Blonde, which I had also never heard until I did the video for the channel. So yeah, I really appreciate you guys for supporting the channel, and for unlocking this reaction video through your donations in the stream. That means a lot to me. I'm glad that you guys are excited about the content that I'm making. And so with that said, guys, I'm super excited to jump into this. Sit back, relax. I hope you enjoy the video. And yeah, the first track is Start. Let's get into it. I'm going to let that play into track 2, Thinking About You, because Start seems to be just like a little 45-second intro. Doesn't really seem like it's going to be a song. So Start will play into Thinking About You. Let's jump into it, dude. I'm excited, man. This is your reminder to drink water, by the way. I have a sippy cup because I'm a child. Is this like turning on some sort of a TV or something like that? I can kind of hear that staticky, high frequency, kind of ringing in my ear you used to get when you turned on old TVs. Yeah, so that kind of sounded like a Street Fighter, wasn't that it? Just kind of turning on the TV and playing Street Fighter. That was really cool.
Usually doesn't rain in Southern California much. No, I've been thinking about you.
I'm not even gonna try and hit those notes, man. That's almost impossible. That's not a range that a regular human can hit.
No, I don't like you. I just thought you were cool enough to kick it.
I love the flow, man. This track just kind of moves. How does he jump to those notes like that so smoothly, He makes it seem effortless. And how beautiful do those chords sound, right? With the velocities tweaked a little bit. The attack is kind of like making it rise in super slowly, and it just kind of falls back out. That's just, it sounds really, really cool, dude. I don't mind making a fool of myself for the content, so. Also, if I'm not mistaken, we haven't heard one hi-hat. Like the definition of minimal production. Just, it's insane how much he manages to do with so little. You've got those pads that kind of rise in and fall out of the track every single chord, right, that it plays. It kind of rises and falls. It's almost like an ocean, really, like the waves. I see waves in my head rising and falling with those chords being played. That's kind of like the image that I get. And barely any drums, and yet he manages to pull so much passion and emotion, from that production and kind of get the most out of, the very little production that we have here. He manages to do so much with the layering of his vocals and the notes that he's singing, and he's just floating throughout this entire track. From his chest voice, jumps into his head voice for a couple notes, comes back down so smoothly, so effortlessly, jumping right back up there to do the chorus, which I maybe when I was younger I could hit those notes, but the older you get, the lower your voice drops, and I couldn't dream of hitting those notes as effortlessly as he's doing on this track. So he's just like, if the pads are the waves that I'm seeing in my head, he's just surfing them like super effortlessly, man. Very clean. I mean, this is a brilliant song, and I don't have to tell you that because it's one of the bigger tracks off of this project. So, I really like that one, and we're off to a great start already. That's really like the opener to the project. If you think about it, it's great. The next track seems like it's an interlude as well, 40 seconds, which is Fertilizer. So I'm going to let that play into Sierra Leone.
Really, I think.
Wait a minute. Oh, wow. Okay, yeah. So he starts off the project. I'm seeing it now. Starts off the project by turning on the TV. We can hear that really old school kind of staticky sound that you get with old TVs when you turn them on. And he started playing some video games, and then we transitioned into Thinking About You. And now with Fertilizer, we start off with that sound that you used to get when you were flipping through channels. And the project is called Channel Orange. So it's like every different track, a different channel, or a different show on this channel that we're watching on the TV right now, because I'm really liking that concept. If that's the case, right? Flipping through the channels and the different songs are the ones that the channels that we land on. I think that's really cool. What? I mean, it's cool. It sounds smooth, man. Super funky. Next channel. Cool. So would Fertilizer be like an ad in between shows then? I don't know, man. But that's interesting. I really like the production on Fertilizer. Very fun, very kind of groovy, you know, playing with the lead there towards the end, the little lead solo. Again, really quick track, but it's just like a really quick fix of just super funky, kind of fun music, and then moving on to the next one. I like it. Fertilizer, I'll take bullshit if that's all you got. That's dope. The strings? This is so pretty, dude. I'm adding this one to the Patreon playlist, man. I love that. God, that's a pretty song, man. It's, you know, at first it sounded a little minimal and in a similar fashion to Thinking About You, but it wasn't super, you know, captivating at first. When he was doing that thing where he was doing like a call and response with his own vocals, he would say something, then sing a response, then say something, then sing a response. I thought it was interesting, but once we got those strings coming in and the really smooth bass line and all the embellishment on the track, oh, that's when it grabbed me. The background vocals just singing these really soulful riffs. His performance on that is, you know, just awesome. I really like that. And again, it's a super short track, man. And he manages to bring us on this roller coaster of different feelings and vibes and you know, chords that we weren't expecting and things like that in less than 3 minutes. It's insane how he's able to do that. Track 5 is Sweet Life.
The Black Beverly Hills, domesticated parrot.
Wow. I love these notes he's hitting. He plays with those black keys, I mean, so well, man. He'll hit these sharps and flats out of nowhere that you're not really expecting. And I'm not saying that how can I say this? That's not necessarily a sharp or a flat note. But it's one of those, I don't know enough music theory to really tell you what I'm trying to say, but I know that I hear it. He's hitting these really unconventional notes that we wouldn't really expect to happen in a genre outside of like jazz or, you know, like a neo soul R&B fusion kind of like really interesting genres that use these interesting chords with like sevenths and you know, sixths and nines and all these different, it's so tough to explain. He doesn't stick to the typical poppy, happy sounding melodies. He'll travel to notes that aren't super conventional and just give us that really cool touch.
Whatever feels good.
The little electric piano sounds fire.
My TV ain't HD, that's too. Sweet life.
I love these hats, man.
Sweet life.
Wow. What did you say there? You've had a landscaper and a housekeeper since you were born. The starshine always kept you warm. So why see the world when you've got the beach? Why see the world when you've got the beach, the sweet life? So who's he talking about there? Just people who were born with a silver spoon in general? But that's really cool. That's really cool. I want to... There's got to be levels to that, man. He's not just saying it just to say it.
Real, whatever you like, whatever, yeah. Sweet life.
This moment where the horns come in is so sweet. Wow, this moment's really cool. This jazzy breakdown's everything to me, dude. This drums sound so clean. Oh my god. That's a really interesting track. That seems like there's levels to it that I really want to dive into again later, which is a that's the first time that that's the first track that gives me that feeling off of this project, right? That there's like something that I missed there. There's something I'm not getting that I'm gonna have to look up lyrics for and interpretations, and gonna have to listen to it again to really catch it. Because it seems like he's talking to somebody. He's talking to this maybe a group of people who were born with silver spoons in their mouths. You know, at first glance, that's what I'm catching. But what exactly is he trying to say to them? Is he making fun of them? Is he being sarcastic? Is he, you know, doing like a parody kind of a thing? Is he being genuine? Like, what is he saying? That's something I really want to dive into later. So that's going to be a treat, man, to listen to that track again and try to pick up on those little details. But from what I caught the first time around, that those moments where the horns come in and, you know, he goes into the chorus, super uplifting. There's this sensation of triumph, right, when those horns come in and just carrying the rest of the track. I think is really cool. And then ending the track with that really dope jazzy breakdown towards the end. I thought that was really fire, man. So I really like Sweet Life. Can't wait to hear it again, man. Track 6 is Not Just Money. See, there's got to be something going on here because it's Sweet Life, Not Just Money, and Super Rich Kids, one after the other. He's got to be talking to this crowd, man.
It's happiness. It's the difference between happy and sad. Having a home and living on the streets. That's what it is. It's not just money.
What did you say? It's the difference between being happy and being sad? Having a home and living on the streets? It's not just money, it's way more than that. That's true. That's true. People always say, oh, but money can't buy happiness, but it can buy things that make you happy. It can give you stability and comfort and the resources to pursue your happiness. Money is it shouldn't be your main, like your only goal in life to get money, but it's up there. Know what I mean? It's up there.
No lucky charms. The maids come around too much. Nothing like this type of view. This shower head feels so amazing. We'll both.
The only reason I caught the shower head bar was because of Terrence on the which is better.
Wine we can't pronounce. Too many bowls of that you
can't imagine. We are the Zanny Nash and Caddy smash you handed. Panic and patch me up. Pappy then Lasky to
Earl's flow is just nuts, man.
and all these aqueducts. Don't believe us, treat us like we can't hear.
Insane feature from Earl. Yeah, you know, I think that one might go on for a little too long. I'm thinking that chorus doesn't really grab my attention enough to keep it there for, you know, 5 minutes. So I'm not mad at it. I really like certain elements of it. I like particularly the moments when he's singing and not necessarily when he's doing that talking kind of thing. Earl Sweatshirt's verse, I really like it. I thought the flow was really impressive, and the fact that he managed to you know, stay on topic and stay in line with what Frank Ocean is talking about on this track, which is the super rich kids and the habits that they get into, and the fact that, you know, their parents aren't around, the maids come around too much, and they just have too many resources at their disposal to get into a bunch of trouble and not enough guidance or supervision, I guess. So yeah, I like the concept, but I think the execution on that chorus and the length of the song is what's keeping me from adding it to my playlist, you know, and something like that. So you know, it's positives and it's pros and cons to it, I guess. It's not one of my favorites, I think.
You always smoking in the house. And the stillness with the sweet.
I really like this like reversed melody.
She came stumbling across my lawn again. Go reaching up your blouse. And the stoner
Wow.
with the sweet.
This is a trippy song, man.
She tell but I was above the sin.
Yeah, just ending on some airplane sounds, I guess. So is she a pilot because of the emotional highs and lows that she takes him on? Is that, did I catch that? Am I right there? I think that's what I got out of this track. I like the fact that it doesn't feel like it's got a solid structure. It feels like it's allowed to breathe and move, and that was something that I mentioned during the Blonde video as well, that I really enjoy when he does that, when he allows himself to just kind of go, on a song and not follow a specific set of rules. Okay, we're gonna do chorus, verse, pre-chorus, chorus, and then end. He just kind of says, you know what, we'll do whatever feels right, and kind of the track just feels like it flows differently. I really like that about this track. I like the melodies that he's singing. I like how trippy the production is, those reversed melodies, the really reverberant snaps. At one point there was like some ambient, bird sounds in the background. I thought that really grounded the track. It made it feel a little realer, if that makes any more sense, right? If the reversed melodies and the really reverberant snaps have this really in the sky kind of floating feeling to it, bringing the bird sounds in kind of grounded us and brought us back down to earth. So that's at least the visions and the images that I get in my head as I'm listening to the music with those different little production elements. I really like that. I like that one a lot. That's a really dope little vibe, man. That must hit different, late at night when you're just kind of chilling and listening to that. That's what I'm saying. It's going to take you on a trip. Track 9 is Crack Rock. Wow. Liking these drums, man. Already there's this crazy contrast between the really smooth, quiet keys and the loud, like, reverberant, rock drums in the background. It's so cool.
Used to date a blonde stone in abandoned homes, robbing to get the fixing that you're itching for. If I get a little from time to time in abandoned homes.
It's talking about these consequences, man. Wow, it's crazy because I feel like I'm not talking enough during the songs and doing my analyzing or whatever, but I'm so enthralled by what he's saying and these pictures that he's painting with his lyrics. So I try and leave my thoughts towards the end, which means that I have to leave the clips, since I'm not talking in them, I have to leave them shorter so that they don't get copyrighted. But anyways, man, he's talking about these consequences of abusing, crack. And what did he say? You're hitting stones in glass homes. You're smoking stones in abandoned homes. You hit them stones and broke your home. Crack rock. And then he goes into this whole verse where it's like you're not invited to the parties anymore. Your family doesn't let you hold infants anymore. You start to become more and more isolated. And he starts this track off by saying you don't really recognize how little you matter until you're all alone, and that's kind of what happens to you as a consequence of abusing this drug. At least that's what he's saying. And that's just such a crazy picture of just how low you can get. It might be, exactly what it means on the surface, but then you can dive into it and there must be symbolism in there. And what is the crack that he's talking about? Is the crack the drug and also something else? And, that's going to be another one that's going to be super fun to dive into later and try and find out the layers that I missed. You can also let me know in the comment section, by the way, feel free, but that's just really, really awesome, symbolic, like the imagery in there, the lyricism, is really standing out to me. I mentioned how cool the contrast is between the really loud drums and the smooth keys. I thought that was really interesting as well. You could get into, how the production is symbolic and it kind of plays on what he's talking about, where maybe the smooth keys are the side of him that wants to stop abusing the drugs and wants to live a clean life, and the loud drums is the chaos that the drugs is bringing into his life. And, I'm not going to do that, but you could kind of try and dive into there. I could kind of see that, which is really, really dope. The fact that you could dive that deeply into the song. Track 10 is Pyramids. This is almost 10 minutes long. Why do I get like graduation era Kanye West, Michael Jackson and Prince from this? I'm trying to dive into the concept and see what he's talking about here, and it seems like he's talking about a woman. I know that much. Talking about how she ran away. talking about how he caught her lying with Samson and his full head of hair. So he's talking about maybe someone who cheated on him. I'm really struggling to see to try and catch everything, you know, but it's so tough on a first listen.
Strong through the motel blinds. Wake up to your girl from the pyramid tonight. Working at the pyramid. BV with the VCR. Got rubies in my damn chain.
I'm gonna be honest, maybe like a minute ago, this track lost me and I started zoning out a little bit, and I just, you know, caught myself and remembered, oh, I'm listening to a song and recording a video. So that's never a good sign. I'm gonna try and focus right now though. Yeah, I don't find this second half of the track as captivating. The first one was really funky. I like that one better. Yeah, you know, this track kind of lost me in the second half. And it's not even just due to the length of it. I wasn't really feeling that second vibe that they brought in. I was preferring that first one. It was really heavy on the synths and that really groovy, funky, kind of like nostalgic, you know, beat to it. I kind of really liked that, and the way that he was playing with it, you know, and flowing over that. I didn't really end up feeling that second half as much as the first one. And so it lost me a few times. I started to zone out and drift. And yeah, I mean, you made a 10-minute track. What do you kind of expect? You know, it's going to be tough to hold people's attention for that long, especially nowadays where people are so used to just like super fast, quick songs, quick vibes, and move on to the next one. So it is really tough to make a song that holds our attention for that long. Yeah, you guys are going to have to really let me know exactly what he's talking about on this track. Because like I said, I know that he's talking about a woman, but are they different women? The first half and the second half. The first one, he was calling her Cleopatra. I don't think I heard him say that on the second half. You know, exactly what happened here. I'm going to have to look up on Genius what this track means and things like that. And knowing what the song means and what he's talking about is definitely going to make it more interesting for further listens and future listens. But coming into it the first time around, not really knowing what's going on, and you know, you do lose yourself a little bit about halfway through it.
Double D, big full breast on my baby. Why you ain't been going to work? Now you're lost in the heat of it all. Los Angeles, India, lost on a train, lost. I could wait to work, I got on you, girl. Lost in the heat of it all. Cooking dough. I promise you'll be whipping meals up for.
I really like the, you know, pop kind of rock vibe that he took with this one. I think his vocals are really dope. I think the hook is pretty catchy too, with the layers that he does, the vocal layers that he does, the background vocals done an octave underneath. You know, I think that's really fire, man. It's a really interesting vibe. It's a really fun track to listen to. Is he talking about, I think he might be talking about somebody being lost in the world, you know, because he's mentioned all these different little cities that he's talking about in the chorus, and it kind of gives me like a lost in the world vibe, the lyrics on this one. So yeah, it's dope though. It's dope. I added it to my playlist too, which means I'd definitely be down to listen to that one again. Track 12 is White, featuring John Mayer. That's gotta be John on the guitar, man. There's few people that play that thing like he does, man. I thought there was gonna be lyrics on there, but I realized just now that that's like a minute-long track, and it turned out to be a kind of an interlude. It's a great little vibe though, man. They did a great job playing with each other there. John Mayer on the guitars, I mean, I'm always here for that, so.
Mosh pits and beer chest, stage diving, skydiver.
Those drums are kind of doing too much, man.
Ooh, wave 'em high, girl.
I'm not feeling this drum pattern, dude.
Monks in the mosh pit, stage diving, Dalai Lama. Feet covered in cut fiber. We've got no choices left. The running.
Yeah, I like the imagery, man. He's talking about, you know, monks in the mosh pit. They mosh for enlightenment, right? Their feet covered in cut flowers, and stage diving. What do you say? Stage diving, Dalai Lama. Like the images are just really funny to think of. So I like that about it, and I like the little breakdown too. But those drums, man, I just can't get into that drum pattern. They're just doing too much, too many fills, hitting the double crash every single bar. Like it's it's just doing too much, man. It's not really for me. Um, Track 14 is Bad Religion.
It's a bad religion.
Sheesh.
I could never make 'em love me, never make 'em love. Stick knives. I can't tell you the truth about my disguise. I told them don't curse me. To me, it's nothing but a one-man.
Man,
It's a
can he sing, huh?
bad religion.
Sheesh. Again, incredible symbolism, really impressive lyricism. Telling the taxi driver to outrun the demons, and the taxi driver starts to say a prayer for him. And he says, "Don't curse me." He says, "But you need prayer." And he says, "I guess it couldn't hurt me, but if it brings me to my knees, it's a bad religion." And he's just talking about never being able to make them, whoever them is, love him. Talk about it being, a one-man cult and cyanide in his styrofoam cups, and not being able to tell the taxi driver the truth of his disguise, and he's got 3 lives balanced on top of his head. So he's got all these different images that he puts into our heads, and we're just trying to find out what exactly he's trying to say. But I think he's talking about like it's almost like wearing a mask where you're living 3 different lives, and you've got to keep your different personalities in order, because if you're with this group of people, you behave this way. If you're with this group of people, you behave this way, and never really truly being yourself, which is the demons that he's trying to outrun, and always trying to change who he is to try and make them love him, but never really getting that. And then any religion that is going to cause him to come to face and come to terms with that is a bad one, because it's gonna show him the fact that he's not truly being himself, and it's gonna bring him to his knees. I think that's what he's trying to say. Again, it's a whole lot to put into a track that's less than 3 minutes long. The production accompanies him, his lyrics beautifully. I think it's a really interesting song. That's definitely going to be that's the third one besides Crack Rock, and I think it was Sweet Life, that I really want to, take a deep dive into the lyricism afterwards. I think that's a really cool song. Track 15 is Pink Matter featuring 3 Stacks. Andre 3000, let's go.
What do you think my brain is made for? What is your woman? Is she just a container for the child? Candy, Majin Buu. Oh.
Crazy production right now.
Aliens are watching live from the purple. Dim the light.
I love that cello, man.
Falling
How compelling is that performance, man? You gotta love it. Now, what is Andre 3000 gonna do on this beat, man?
I ain't myself at all, had to tell myself no. She better with some fella with a regular job. I didn't want to get her involved. Falls too close and I remember my memories no sharp. She had the kind of body that would probably intimidate any of them that were unsouthern. Not me, cousin. If models are made for modeling.
Any of them that were unsouthern, not me, cousin. You gotta love that track, man. That's on the Patreon playlist too. I want to talk about Andre 3000's verse there a little bit, man, because I had to really, lock in and pay attention to what he was saying, especially because it was a faster paced verse. He's talking about, the desire to call this woman, but saying no, she's probably better off with somebody who has a regular job, and having to tell himself no and deny himself that, and saying that he wants to get into his car and drive far away, but far away is too close, and kind of dreaming about her, and and saying she's got the type of body that would probably intimidate somebody who wasn't, who was unsouthern, but not me, and really just wanting to, at the end, I think he says, I want to hold your hand. And so he's really infatuated with this person. You kind of have to be a more mature person to want to reach out and say, but they're better off without me, so I'm not going to, recognizing that person is better off with someone that isn't you, because you can't be what that person needs you to be. That takes of like a really mature, mindset. So I really admire that from Andre 3000's verse. I thought that was really brilliantly written. The flow was insane. I really liked the production on this one. The really soulful outro, right, where he and I think it was Andre and Frank Ocean singing together, right? You're good at being bad, you're bad at being good. For heaven's sake, go to hell, knock on wood. the contrast there, right? You're good at being bad, bad being good. For heaven's sake, go to hell. That just the contrasting in the lyricism there is really cool too. I like that song, man. I want to know what the colors mean. He said gray matter, pink matter, purple matter. Towards the end, he said blue matter. I want to know what he's talking about there. I didn't really catch that. But so yeah, it's still a really cool track. Track 16 is Forrest Gump.
My fingertips and my lips, they running on my mind, boy. Forrest Gump and my lips, they burn from the cigarettes, but you kept running past the end zone.
I love that they're sampling the clips from Forrest Gump, the movie. That's one of my favorite movies of all time. I've seen that movie countless. I don't know how many times I've seen it, so I love that they're including that.
Running on my mind, boy. Oh, you. It's for you forever.
Man, now I want to watch Forrest Gump. The song's playing and I'm seeing the scenes in my head. It's so funny that Forrest Gump has become associated with running now, man, because sometimes people pretend like, or they act kind of like that's the major thing to happen in that movie. You know, the fact that he ran across the United States, what was it, 4 times, 3 times? I mean, they forget that he wore a brace because his back was crooked as a kid. And then as he was outrunning the bullies on their bicycles, the brace kind of fell off, and that's when he discovered his passion for running. And then, you know, he grew up to be a college football star. He then went on to fight in the Vietnam War. He won a Congressional Medal of Honor for saving the life of his platoon or whatever, and got shot in the process. And as he was recovering, he became a ping pong international champion. I mean, went on to start a successful shrimping business. You know, survived a hurricane out in the middle of the ocean. Went on to, you know, become best friends with his lieutenant, who he ended up saving in the Vietnam War. I mean, he used to mow grass for the local, you know, football stadium for free just because he liked to do it. It was a chance for him to stop and think. This man ran across the country a bunch of times. This man went on to become filthy rich and invest in Apple computers. I mean, you know, people forget just how ridiculous the story of that guy's life was in that movie. And he became kind of synonymous with with the running. God, I love that movie, man. I'm probably gonna cut all of that out of the video because that didn't know. I'm supposed to be talking about the song, and here I am summarizing the movie. But it is a really cool, groovy track. I really like the guitars. I like how catchy it is. You know, him saying "You run my mind, boy," Forrest Gump, and it's talking about this guy that he's, you know, kind of infatuated with. I think it's smooth. I think it's sweet. It's a short, quick song. It's kind of gonna get stuck in my head, that little riff, you know, bum bum bum, the little guitar riff. It's really cool, man. I like it, and I'm probably gonna watch Forrest Gump tonight because of this song. So track 17 is End.
Looks like all we've got is each other. The truth is obsolete.
That's a really cool little outro. From what I could, you know, hear, somebody was driving home, parked the car, walked inside the house there towards the end, and kind of turned off the TV. But I feel like gonna get into this album review now. I'm feeling like the concept that we could really hear a whole lot in the beginning of the flipping through the channels, and the fact that this was kind of like all going on within a TV, and every track was kind of like a different channel or a different program. We kind of lost that about halfway through. You know, they didn't really include the sound effects that they did, like they did for the first few tracks of, you know, flipping through the channels, just to remind us that there is a concept to this. And, you know, they didn't really bring that back until the end where the TV was turned off. So I do wish that they would have maintained that a little bit more throughout the project. I'm gonna say, judging on my first listens, I do prefer Blonde. I like Blonde's aesthetic a little bit more. I like the vibe to Blonde a little bit more. But I'm not mad at this one at all, man. There are I think 4 or 5 tracks off of this one that I really want to dive into heavily, the lyricism. I think it was Pink Matter. I know for sure Pyramids, Crack Rock, and Sweet Life. I really want to jump into the imagery, the symbolism, and find out what exactly he's talking about, man. So I can't wait to do that on my, further future listens, and really try and break those tracks down and find out the things that are beneath the surface. I think that the interludes on this one are really cool, right? We have the one featuring John Mayer, White, which I thought was really dope. I think Fertilizer had a really fun, funky groove to it. Not Just Money, which was kind of a spoken one. I thought that was really dope, talking about how money isn't just money. It's the things that it can buy for you. It's the things that you can achieve with it. It's not just the value. I thought that was really dope. So there are, a lot of positives to this one. Thinking About You is forever going to be a legendary track, right? It's going to be the standout song off this project, just based on how big it got. Forever, I think. It's such a brilliant song. There's so much nice things to say about this. The vibes with the more rock kind of, loud drums, the guitar. The use of the guitar is really prominent in this album. Frank's performance is always consistently awesome, right? He sings so beautifully. His use of the vocals and the layering, right? Doing multiple takes and in different octaves. I mean, the notes that he's able to hit, his performance is always brilliant. I'm never gonna, really have any complaints in that regard. But I really want to, jump into this album again and see what I missed. Because on the first time around, all I can really say is that vibe-wise, I think that I think that Blonde was a step up, I think that Blonde was a step up from this one. But this is really good, man. I think it's going to grow on me, because the more I understand the songs, the better they're going to be, in my opinion. So if you're watching this, don't take this as like my end-all, be-all opinion on this album, that I think Blonde is better, and this one could have been, the concept could have been better infused throughout the project and things like that, because I've only heard this once, and I know for certain that this is going to grow on me. So, yeah, man, for now, those are my opinions on this one. Those 4 tracks that I mentioned are the standout ones, along with Thinking About You. I know that some of you guys really, that you've been asking me to put in my standout tracks, so those are my standout tracks. It's Thinking About You, Sweet Life, Crack Rock. I want to dive into Pyramids, and Pink Matter as well. Yep, for sure. So thank you all so much for watching the video. I really appreciate you guys, like I said, for supporting the channel, for unlocking this reaction with your donations in my streams. I have to get Beautiful Thugger Girls out to you guys, and I also have to get Imperial by Denzel Curry out to you guys as well. I'll be trying to do that all this week. Patrons get the videos a day early. I really appreciate the support of my patrons and my members on the channel. The members also get the same benefits as the patrons. And yeah, if you're not able to support that way, I'd appreciate a subscription or a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Comment down below. Share this with somebody if you think that they're going to enjoy it as well. Let's start getting the like counts, up on these videos, man, because that's really what's going to make YouTube push these videos out to other people. It's going to help the channel grow a lot, so I really appreciate that. I'll be back with another video real soon. Until then, guys, stay safe. Thank you for watching. Peace out.